I'm going to get a bit of a bicep pump holding this, aren't I?
Just. Kia ora and welcome to the Crispy Dudes recap show of the CrossFit Open. We're kicking it off for week one. Welcome.
G'day there, mate. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit used to the handheld microphone, some would say. I'm used to pointing the camera at someone with what I like to call the dildo microphone.
I didn't think we would reference dildos less than 20 seconds into the episode, but here we go. Welcome, guys. If you don't know us, my name's Riz. This is Callum. Callum, first off, kicking it off with a Matt Fraser t-shirt. Please explain.
Well, there's been a little bit of controversy floating around the CrossFit world, Riz, as you've heard the murmurings, and I just wanted to side with who I believe had the greater opinion, and that's Matt Fraser. So there's a bit of a Matt Fraser, Dave Castro back and forth. I don't know where you sit in the situation.
Thoughts? Okay, I'll get into it. Really interesting. Obviously, for those who aren't up to play, Matt Fraser, the big dog, he was on the Joe Rogan Experience.
I love Joe Rogan.
He was there, and the big controversy really is within the CrossFit community. The CrossFit community sees him as like one of the head honchos, one of the big idols for a lot of people.
He's the CrossFit god, really, isn't he?
So when he went out and didn't really sing praises of CrossFit, there was a bit of a hoopla about that. People weren't happy with it. He badmouthed Dave Castro, which you mentioned, I found it quite entertaining. Like, Dave Castro is one of those guys who you kind of love to hate. He's a bit of a villain, which I
exactly.
like.
And that's the thing. He plays himself out to be a villain. So I think a lot of this controversy, he's loving. He's just sitting there with his wooden spoon, stirring the pot. Yeah. Like he loves to stir the pot, and he's done it. He's done it with Rich Froning before, and he's obviously having a go at Matt Fraser now. And if I was him, losing the GOAT of the sport, and you'd want to have a wee bit of a dig at him. You'd want to try enticing him back into the game. And I mean, he's done it with Rich, and Rich obviously didn't come back. He's sitting in the team division, and I don't know. I think there's a little bit of unfinished business with Matt Fraser. There's something in the air. So it'd be interesting to see what eventuates. It may not be competing again. It may be a video or a vlog with further diggings, but yeah, I'm intrigued to see where it goes.
Yeah, and the more we see of Matt out in the public eye, like he's been all over social media, pumping sponsored left, right, and centre. The more we see of him, the more I kind of realise that sounds like he had a bit of a bad card with CrossFit in the background. He was busting a gut, working pretty hard, and then had a few things happen, kind of little chips. He's had a few chips on his shoulder, some would say. So yeah, interesting to see where he takes it in the coming years and whether he comes back. I've got a feeling
I'm
that
sure
he won't,
we'll hear about it on the podcast. I've
been
loving the Sivan, Matt, and Josh. I don't know the order of that. I think I got it wrong. I think Sivan's last.
That's another good podcast with Sivan, Matt, and Josh. Hilarious banter. But enough about podcasts. We're here to talk about the CrossFit Open. Let's kick it off.
Yeah, so let's take a step back. What are we? What is this show? What are we planning to cover here, mate?
Yeah, well, really simply, we just want to have a quick chat, quick yarn about the CrossFit Open each week, or about the whole season, really. What's happening each week? What are some memorable moments? What are things that maybe you might have missed out there in the media? And really, first week, it's like, what's the first event? What did you think of it? How did the athletes perform? And where to from here?
Yeah, I think what tends to happen is Riz or I will pick up the phone and we'll ring one another. And it's a little bit of a CrossFit gossip session, I'd say. And there's been a couple of moments where we go, we should really be recording this and projecting it to the CrossFit world. And we thought, right, let's do something locally. Let's do something that kind of brings in the Australasian demographic and targets them more specifically. And we go more in depth with Australasia in general and kind of see where it leads to and have a bit of fun, I guess.
Yeah, because we are two Kiwis, we've got a bit of a soft spot for Oceania, that market there. Let's take a look.
It's great to have the CrossFit media with a budget. The last couple of years, it's been missing, and you can really see the production quality leveling up. We haven't had that for the last 2 years with the sanctional / what would you call it, national champion format. It's good to be home. It's good to be home. What did you think of the announcement, mate?
To be honest, I thought it ticks the box. All you really need to do is make a bit of a fuss, and I thought it could have been done better. Always good to see Dave doing his thing. But personally, I love the announcement because of the workout. It's reasonably simple. I love that they threw in a new movement in competition that a lot of these professional athletes or high-performance athletes, don't do anymore.
Yep.
They just don't do it. So that in the wall walk. So
and it shows on the leaderboard, doesn't it?
yeah, it
really
does.
shows.
So for this first week of the Open, Dave kicked off double unders and wall walks.
Yeah, so we had 1 wall walk, 10 double unders, 3 wall walks, etc. 6, 9, 15, 21, and then times that by 10 for the double unders. And there was a 15-minute time cap, which proved to be a little bit tighter than what most people would have thought.
Yeah, it was perfect. I really loved how it kind of played out. So as the scores have slowly rolled in, and we've been in discussions with lots of people over the last few days about it, at first, athletes were not finishing. They weren't finishing. They were getting in the middle sets of the 21, maybe. And
well, I guess the big eye-opener was seeing Kirsty Aramo and Carrie Pearce go at it, and Kirsty didn't finish it. And she's been a stalwart over the last couple of years. She's one of the regular faces. She's one of the promotional girls, I'd say, because they know that she's going to be in the top 30 every year. She's going to be at the games. So it's kind of seeing her stuck on, I think she was stuck on the double under set. I think she got 40, 50 double unders, not quite sure. But it was a bit of an eye-opener that the time cap was tight. There was murmurings of a 10:33 that had been done on the live announcement, which I think is a bit of horse. But so I think once Carrie blew it away, which is, I think, when you see the workout, her being a little bit shorter with the double unders and being a king at gymnastics, it was always going to be a killer workout for her. So I think everyone thought, right, she's going to finish it. But it was a real eye-opener seeing Kirsty struggling with that time cap.
Yeah, I just love the challenge of the movement that these athletes haven't done much before. So in the first few days, even watching some of the techniques come out online of people.
What did you do? What did you do for your technique?
I'm representing scale division.
Yeah, let's go.
So yeah, I followed the movement standards and was nervous that I wouldn't get it done, but yeah, I was happy with my result. Still a bit sore.
So do you guys do double or singles for the scale?
Singles.
What was the variation? So the wall walk was the same? You went to the 10-inch wall?
No, so the wall walk was completely different. You started your hands way further out.
Okay.
This is probably boring chat for those big dog athletes, but you had to pretty much cross a line and then cross back over. It was a bit of a rhythm thing. Once you nervously kind of did a few practices, I was like, wait a minute, this could be not too bad. But once I got into it, got the workout done under the time cap.
So the stimulus was attained, your shoulders were cooked?
Yeah, shoulders cooked, core worked out, but maybe it's the lack of CrossFit training in the last few months. The half Ironman's really the goal, and that's at the end of the year, so haven't been doing much of the CrossFit-based stuff, but it really showed in the performance.
Full-time endurance athlete, part-time CrossFitter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Particularly the qualify. Just visit 2 of the ticking time bombs in New Zealand. Mate, take it.
No, you got this, mate.
Cut 45. Cut. Luke Fowler and a couple of other.
Yeah. You got this. Okay, no.
Just take it.
No. You got this, mate.
I'm getting stuck on this one, So we popped out to Selwyn Strength on Saturday to visit the boys, Ben and Luke Fowler, brothers. There's also a younger one, Timmy Fowler, out there, and a couple of their training companions to get a little bit of content, a little bit of footage, and get a little bit more of an insight into the CrossFit Open. Check out the footage. Who's winning this one, Luke? Out of you and Benny?
Hopefully me.
Hopefully you?
Yeah.
What's your initial thoughts on the workout, mate?
Not too bad. I think it's a decent one for me. Wall walks, I think, maybe are a little bit boring, but that's super hard anyway, so.
What's the game plan?
Just kind of move quite smooth, don't go out the gates too hot, and then just hopefully get to the 21s with my shoulders still able to do something.
So are you going to be looking over your shoulder at Benny as a bit of a pace, or is it more of a...
Nah, he's too slow for me, so I'll stick to my pace and he can try and keep up.
So Luke's just told me he's going to smoke you in the workout. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, he said that at Nationals, and we all saw what happened at Nationals. So.
That was a mean time. Pretty happy with that?
Yeah, pretty good. I did everything unbroken, so I don't think I'd be able to go much better than that.
Cool. And how's the body? What's the initial reactions after finishing that?
Oh, it was fine. it wasn't as hard on the shoulders as I thought, but I was taking a little bit of time between each rep on the 21s, just so I didn't burn them out for double unders.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to break the double unders up more than like twice. Luckily I did them unbroken, so it didn't matter.
What was the hardest part of the workout?
I can't find it. Because by then, wall walks obviously with the harder two movements.
And when did that start to kick in? What sort of rep
range? I think. I was just jumping. It's hard to say. I think the 15s weren't too bad. It was a nice number to kind of push for. I think the 9s kind of started to set in how hard it was going to get, and then try to pull it back, but you've already set your pace, so it's just hard. Nah.
And were you breaking it in that set of 21? Were you like breaking it up and every have taken a little breather after each one and shaking off a little bit, or were you?
So most of the time when it's a 21, 15, 9, if I know I have to break up the 21s, I'll do a 9, 8, then was it 6 or something? 9, 8, 6, 9, 8, 5, sorry.
It's like a big set to start off with.
Yeah, so a bigger set at the start and try and rest a little bit in between. I was doing like from the ground, like pressing up onto my knees and just resting there, so I'd never lie too long on the ground, try and lift the rest, but when you're doing it every rep, it stacks up. Obviously.
The make or break question, did you beat your mum?
I did beat my mum. It was a domination out there. It was a slaughter. I think she'll take the next one if there's a barbell. I got 11 wall walks and 21s.
How'd you go, Bryce?
I got 37 double unders in the 2 sets. So.
Ooh, that's a good score.
I mean, yeah, it's alright. I think I've done 4 wall walks on the 21s, and then Luke had gone on to his last set of double unders, so I was like,
There was some crispy content, Callum. Well done there on the video. Really, once you caught up with the boys, caught up with the crew out there, what was your initial thoughts about how this workout was going to go down?
Personally, I came away from Saturday thinking no one was going to touch Luke's time. Because he went unbroken in all of his double unders, had minimal rest in between the two movements, so really efficient between the two, and he wasn't really breaking on the wall walks. He was having a quick shake of the shoulders, and I thought, I don't know how you could beat this. So I came away thinking, I don't think anyone in New Zealand's touching that.
Yep.
But little did we know.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I was the exact same. We'd heard a few rumblings of a few results before heading out to Selwyn, and those boys really smashed it. So taking a quick look at the Oceania leaderboard after the first workout, Jacob Wheeler taking the top spot. Nice one, Jakey boy. Then Jay Crouch, Zach Thomas. Then in fourth, we have Stephen Machuski. Now, that's a familiar name.
Stevie, he got his score up early, which it raised a few concerns with me. As soon as you see...
Why? I don't get that. Explain.
Yeah, okay. So what tends to happen is that all of the reputable names of CrossFit kind of get a free VIP entry to the top of the leaderboard. And when all these...
Okay, rewind. Explain that.
Yeah, okay. So let's say Jacob Hepner pops up a score. He pops it up 4 days early. You don't think twice. You think, oh, yeah, he's going to pop up a top 10 score. But what happens when someone like Stevie comes along, who is unknown in the world? He's 20 years old. And Stevie, change your profile pic. He has a profile pic of, I think, when he was like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah. Straight
away, you're getting a whole lot of people looking at the video and analyzing the F out of it. And I thought, as soon as I saw that up there, I thought, Stevie, that's going to be pulled down pretty quickly. And it was. I think it was up there. We put a post up that day, within 30 minutes of him putting up the score.
Yep.
And I think halfway through the day, he had some form of deduction. It went from 11.54 to 13 something, and I thought, oh, for God's sake. Because I personally sat there and watched all the way through, and I mean, he didn't have a judge, which is a little bit silly, Stevie, but it was super, super impressive. I mean, did you watch the video, mate? Yeah.
So I had a quick squiz. It was funny because the videos are submitted. You can just watch them. Sometimes at the start they're really awkward. So who was I thinking? I saw Gilly uploaded his video. Had a quick watch of that one. He was shirtless for the whole workout. Looked pretty. He's got
bloody
a great
Bailey
rig.
Martin trying to ring me.
Yeah, Bailey's
Get
been
out
ringing
here,
me
Bailey.
as well. But I watched this video. He mentions that he did a few too many dubs in the initial attempt, so I counted his final round of double unders.
So they're complaining about his score because he did too many reps.
No. He was worried about that. But at the end of the day, he's redone the workout and pretty much matched his time again. And
1 second difference.
Yeah. So no things to worry about there. Let's not dwell. Any other notable mentions there on that leaderboard for the lads?
Yeah, for me, Mr. Dylan Mitai, he's almost a self-proclaimed retired CrossFitter. He's had multiple trips to the games in a team for East Tamaki. But it just shows he is still one heck of a weapon. I know that he's not training as frequently as he normally is, but he does.
It's non-stop calls from Bailey.
Is Bailey ringing you now too?
Yes, he's called me before as well.
He's caught wind of us running the podcast, and he thought, "I got to get down to Christchurch."
wanted
He's
to
probably
get on the
just
show.
arrived at the Christchurch airport.
Yeah. 1 second, we'll take this
Yeah,
call.
1 second. Sorry about how unprofessional this all is, folks.
For God's sake.
Are you guys live or no?
No. We are recording it and we're uploading it immediately. So, hey, Bailey, quick while you're here on the, I'll record your audio. Quick thoughts of the workout, mate.
At first I thought it was stupid, but after redoing it for the second time, I actually enjoyed it. But I hope the next one's a lot better than this one.
Nice. That's all we have time for. Thank you. Back to the show.
To be fair, he's going to love that. He's going to love having 2 words put into the podcast.
Oh,
He's already ringing back.
my God.
Just a little disclaimer: Bailey Martin is one of the fittest guys in New Zealand, but he wants to retire at the ripe old age of 21 and join the Crispy Dudes. So he's changed his media handle to Crispy Boy. He's just trying to squirm his way in with us, isn't he? Yeah. So back to Dylan on the leaderboard. So currently sitting 7th in Australasia at a week 1. And he doesn't really do much CrossFit training anymore. He rides a lot of mountain bikes and goes for a lot of boys' trips around New Zealand riding mountain bikes. So the fact that he's sitting up there in a spot with people that, I mean...
Sub 13 minutes there
Yeah.
with his time.
A
Yep.
lot of these people are training for 3-4 hours a day, and they're nowhere to be seen. So
Question is, weeks 2 and 3, will we see him there on the leaderboard, or is he going to be a bit of a one-hit wonder?
I don't know, because I think the formatting of the programming this year is going to be quite different. I think the first 3 stages are going to be so different to any leaderboard that we've seen for regionals, because they're not trying to test the same thing. All they're trying to do is capture the top 10%, which you're going to get all the regionals athletes fall within that. And I think that the way that the programming's structured, we're going to see a lot more open, openly accessible workouts, openly accessible movements that aren't that complex, that are really basic tests of fitness. And we could see someone like Dylan sitting at the top. I don't know. What do you think, mate?
Interesting. I honestly don't know. But I think it's going to be interesting these first few weeks. Looking down the leaderboard here, I've scrolled down, and I have found the big dog, Luke Fiso, 50th spot.
Still on the first page, Lukey.
I see he's on the first page just. But after having some chats with some other athletes and thinking about the whole season, what are your thoughts on the redo? I've seen a lot of athletes redoing this workout, and looking down at Luke's score, I think I know through the grapevine he did not. He's just a one and done, and he's getting a score that's going to get him in that top 10%, and then advance on to the next stage where all of this doesn't matter.
I think you know how passionate I am about this. So this new 3-week format is the ability to do the workouts, squeeze into that top 10%. Let's take Luke Fiso, for example. He could do this hungover, eyes shut, and still get in the top 10%.
Jeez.
What? He could.
Yeah, I know. I hate the thought of imagining to attempt this workout hungover. It'd be terrible. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
But someone like Luke, there is absolutely no point redoing the workout unless, which we're seeing with some people like Noah Olsen and Travis Mayer, is that they didn't meet the standard, and that's a swipe. I understand that you can redo it, but if you're sitting in the top 300 within Australasia, leave it alone. Move on. Carry on with your training week. There is no point kicking up on that wall, potentially blowing out your calves. There's a lot of double unders in this workout, and what I think it brings in is ego. Like people want to see their name at the top of the leaderboard, and it's just I'm not going to look back in a year's time and go, oh, who came in the top 5 in stage 1 of the Open? It's not going to be a go.
Yeah, great point, mate. I agree with you. Moving on.
Sorry, I got a little bit heated there.
Moving on to the ladies. Let's take a look at the ladies' leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
What do we...
Holy moly! Tia Claire Toomey's in first. Do you believe that?
I was like, wait, what?
You don't expect anything less, do you? It's almost you scroll past the number one and you look at number two, and I think it's almost the same. It's almost the same proposal. We've got Jamie Simmons, formerly known as Jamie Green, sitting in second place.
Yep, makes sense. Two big dog athletes leading in the Oceania women's division. There are a few other names in the air representing the Kiwis. We've got Harriet Robertson sixth. Love that work. Madeline Schelling sneaking in.
Schelling.
In
See,
11th.
she's one of the redoers.
Yeah,
I know that wasn't her time before. I'm watching you.
Cara Saunders there. Madeline Stewart. You know, all the big names. There's a few in that top 10.
Amanda McKay.
Very impressed with her time
14th
there.
place.
Very sharp.
She's been a bit of an up-and-comer within New Zealand.
100%. She is one to watch. We checked her out at Nationals.
You checked her out at Nationals?
Yeah. I was really impressed with her fitness. And yeah, very impressed with her fitness, and good to see her kicking off the leaderboard. Any other notable mentions there, mate?
I don't think so. Look, the rest of the names are all kind of people that you'd expect to be in that top 50.
And similar thing that I noticed in the final, maybe the last 10 or 15 of that top 50, there are athletes that I would expect to be higher, but I think I realize what they're doing. It's like, hey, they've got a score they're happy with. They're ready to move on to week 2. They're not going to
carry on with their training cycle.
Yeah. Exactly. Coach Cowell's coming out. And yeah, so for example, we've got Laura Clifton there, 46th spot. She's ticked it off. She's got her workout done. She's going to move on to the next week. So love it.
So kind of moving back to the top 2 people on the top of that leaderboard, they're in a little bit of a predicament. We've been talking a bit of back and forth with Paddy Orr, who's obviously Shane Orr's brother. And
Paddy Orr, fan of the show.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, you hope so, Paddy. I hope you're watching, mate. But the debacle that they're in at the moment is that Tia is stuck in America, and we all know America is just riddled with COVID at the moment. And Jamie is stuck in Wales. I think she's stuck in Wales with her her husband Elliot. And the problem is that with the new system, they are now qualifying for the Continental based on their passport. So in previous years, Jamie would be competing out of the Mediterranean because she's in the European sanctional, sorry.
Yep. Just spit it out. What are you saying here?
Well, what I'm saying is that now Tia's got to fly back from America to Brisbane, to the Torian Pro, to compete. Which, okay, that may have been fine 2-3 years ago with open borders, accessible flights, more frequent flights, which means the prices are they're not paying an arm and a leg to get over here. But I've heard some murmurings that she's going to be paying $4,000 per person. So that's $4,000 for her, $4,000 for Shane to come over and compete at the Torian Pro. She's also got to do a 2-week quarantine before the Torian Pro. And it doesn't sound like much for the average Joe, but 2 weeks of no training for someone like her that's ramping up for the season is big. It's really, really big.
Totally. Yeah, and I'm in two minds about this. So Tia, big dog in the sport, but at the same time, that's chump change in terms of payment. She could bat her eyelids and a sponsor would pay for all of that. I get that, but the 2 weeks training is a big thing. That's what I wonder how it works with other professional athletes who have had to do the same thing. Well, do they have access to more equipment? Is there some deal? I don't know.
I guess if you take a step back, let's look at someone like Emma Chapman. So a Kiwi that's been living in America for the last 4 or 5 years, performed phenomenally. Realistically, she's got a full-time job that she can't leave for a month, can she? Unless she's a stay-at-home mummy. I don't know the financial situations there, but for someone like Tia and Jamie, it's a little bit easier to do, but there's a lot of people that are really going to be missing out. A lot of athletes that could be making their breakthrough seasons, particularly the younger ones that come through that don't have the sponsors, that need a bit of a kick in the bum. I mean, if this was Sarah Sigma's daughter in 2016, she may not even be able to compete at the regional she's meant to be performing at.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one, and I think at the end of the day, CrossFit's going to just realise it's in the too hard basket. And I feel like they're going to be a bit more lenient than we realise at this stage, but time will tell. Right along, let's take a quick look at weeks 2 and 3. Well, we can't really look at them just yet, but Callum, quick predictions. What do you think? What do you think the workouts are going to be like?
I think going back to the comment of easy, accessible workouts, I think we're going to see... I think this first workout was a bit of a precedence for what the next 2 weeks are going to look like. And I think it's going to be simple. I think we're going to see something like burpees.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe even burpee pull-ups. Something that can get the whole of everyone competing in the open to be involved and feel like they're participating at an equal level to the professionals of the sport.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be simple. I think Dave loved hearing behind the scenes. Dave loved this first workout because it was a wall and a skipping rope. He liked that simplicity. So I think he'll keep that thing rolling. Are we going to see a barbell?
It's on the prerequisite list, so we will see. I think they've got to throw a 1RM in there of some kind, but it may be something simple like a back squat or a front squat. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. But I think for this first phase, really.
Actually, let's do a week 2 prediction. What are you thinking?
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go safe and go for burpees.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of murmurings about burpees and thrusters, so I'm gonna combine them. Burpees and thrusters. That's my pick.
So that sounds like a repeat of that one that Rich, Matt, and Ben Smith did. Remember that? It was kind of they went head to head, and Matt Fraser.
Oh my God! Stop leaning on that table. It's about to collapse.
I need to get that bloody invoice back from that carpenter. My prediction would be, I like burpees, but I want to see something new. I want to see the burpee pull up. I mean, they did it at the Rogue Invitational, coupled with deadlifts. I'd love to see an interval. So I'm just going to write what I would want to see.
Yeah, here we go.
So I'm going to go 21, 15, 9 burpees, burpee pull-ups and deadlifts at 100 kilos and 70 kilos for girls. And then I'm going to have a prescribed 4-minute rest period, similar to that muscle-up workout we had. And then I'm going to go 12, 9, 6 at 140 and 100 kilos. And with the same thing again, burpee pull-ups. So we're allowing those bigger boys to come out to play, show off, but also letting the average CrossFitter have an attempt at the 100 kilo bar. And I think that time cap's going to be tight. It's not going to allow for many deadlifts of that heavier weight, because that's typically what Dave does.
See, I'm gonna argue against that. I feel like he's gonna keep it simpler for longer than we realize. I feel like this 3-week period, it's gonna be reasonably simple. Don't know why I'm feeling this way, but
pushing for that workout.
Yeah. Well, hey, I love a heavy barbell. I'm all about that.
How far did you get through in your workout?
Me?
Yeah, in the open.
Mate, I completed it 30 minutes something.
I
thought you beauty. 30 minutes 40, great. Scale division, represent. And then I see the leaderboard for scaled is like 7 minutes. And I'm like, oh God. But anyhow, moving on. Now, quick scan of the notes here, the pre-show notes. I see the mention of a Crusader's name. Cody Taylor is written down here. What are you going to bring up about him?
So Cody Taylor is a New Zealand All Black, and he trains out of 6'4" Fitness in his pre-seasons. So he trains with the likes of Marnie and Mads, some of the fittest in New Zealand. And he's a CrossFit fanatic. His wife trains full-time out of 6'4", and he gets in there every single day. So what tends to happen with the All Blacks is they have their test series, and then they have this big 6 to 8 week off season where they pretty much say, go do nothing, just let your body recover.
Yep.
But Cody takes a week or 2 off, has a bit of fun, and he comes straight back into the gym and starts working hard. And he can do muscle ups, he can do handstand walking, and to put it into perspective, he's a hooker. So a hooker is one of the bigger boys on a rugby field, but he's been doing some impressive things. We're week 2 into the Super Rugby Aotearoa Championships, and I'd say Cody's one of the standout players of the series. And we'll cut to that video.
Than tapping it, which they've done anyway. And off goes Cody Taylor and scores. Now Morgan shifts it across. Big space in midfield. Taylor, now who can he link up with? Drummond pops it up Moanga. And Richie Moanga scores a great try.
Blistering from the Crusaders.
Wow, that's impressive stuff there from Cody. He's got that power, he's got that speed, even for a hooker. He can move well. So, and you're contributing a little bit of that to CrossFit, you think?
I think so. Well, I'd like to think so. I think all CrossFitters do that, don't they?
Yeah.
Claim to fame, some would say. But we saw another famous face at a recent competition that we were filming. We were up in Auckland filming Met Cobb Madness, and it is annoying because we didn't realise he was there until right at the end. I think you were going around getting crowd shots at the end of the competition, and you
I
recognised
thought, hold
him.
on, this is a New Zealand Sevens legend, DJ Forbes.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and he's just chilling with his gym, with some of his members.
Yep.
They're all just dripping with sweat. End of Met Cobb Madness.
Yep.
They had a great day. There's so many flippant athletes at that event. So
Yep.
I was like, wow, good to see him out there doing his thing.
So DJ was renowned as one of the fittest rugby players of all time to play. And New Zealand Sevens, you've got to be very, very fit. And he was one of the fittest of the fittest. So I'm thinking there could be some sort of collab there. I'd love to see a fight between the 15s and 7s. I don't know if Cody and DJ would be interested, but that'd be quite cool if we could get some content between the two of them, maybe in the next off-season. But yeah, let's keep that in the pipeline. I like that. What do you guys think? Leave a comment.
Yeah, I like it. Speaking of pipeline, looking down Canberra number 1 over in the corner there. For week 2 of this show, I'd really love to see your thoughts, your comments below about what you'd like to see. Do you want athlete interviews? We can make that happen. But comment below, who do you want to see? Bailey's obviously trying to nudge in on the show.
My God.
But yeah, who do you want to see? Let us know. And thanks for tuning in for episode 1.
Yeah, I had fun. You had fun?
Yeah, it was good.
Let's look at that camera for the first time today, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Sounds good. Cheers, team.